Welcome to Anything Cricket. Let's talk. On this very special episode of Anything Cricket, Let's Talk, we are looking at the Keith Boyce cricket tournament. And we're going to hear from some of the key people who will be involved in the final. Rondell Yearwood, welcome to Anything Cricket Let's Talk, one of the organizers of the Keith Boyce Tournament. And I don't know if to say a former cricketer yourself or a cricketer. You tell me, you still get out there in the middle
I
sometimes?
still play. I still play with sometimes commentators even call my son my name, but
Are
I
you
play
talking about
more
Rondre?
second.
Are you talking about Rondre?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I play the second division.
Uh-huh.
I was captain the second division team.
Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you kept wicket in your better days, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I
Uh-huh.
was more known for my wicket keeping, obviously, because I played at, youth level, West Indies
Mhm.
under 19. Played one game for Barbados, but when I played, I didn't make keep any game. But yeah, I guess my claim to fame would have been wicket keeping
Who kept wicket in
for
that game
sure.
you played? I don't know whether you would have played in Barbados
Um,
team and you didn't keep
it,
wicket.
um, Corey Glasgow.
Okay, okay, yes, yes, Corey
Yeah,
Glasgow.
from
Okay. So you played as a
West
batsman
Right.
then?
Yeah.
This is at the youth level you're talking about or senior level?
No, no, that was uh against like a South Africa A team.
Right, gotcha,
Apart Windward.
gotcha. Yep, yep,
Apart
yep, yep.
Windward. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I know you're in addition to still playing, you're into cricket administration, as one of the organizers of the Keith Boyce tournament. I think that
Yes.
was back now to what, back 2008 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, yeah. It started in 2008.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how has it been
Um
going though? What is basically well, obviously you're honoring the former West Indies cricketer Keith Boyce who had such a great impact on people. But
yeah.
basically how has that gone? What sort of impact has it had?
Well, obviously, to me now, we seem to be the major out of season cricket tournament being organized in Barbados because obviously for the last couple of years we have had over like 20 teams each year. So the guys actually look forward to the tournament, if you get what I'm saying. And
Mhm.
the thing about it is that it is still bit red ball and it's still being played like 35 overs as opposed to, most competitions these days, T20 or T10 or whatever the case may be. So at least we are still producing a tournament that could help the clubs, if you get what I'm saying, in
Uh-huh.
terms of actually the start of the season or going into the season, those guys are like match ready, to be
Right.
honest. And you could see that the teams that do well in the competition or the players that do well in the competition when they go back to their club, obviously like the regular season actually started even earlier this year.
Uh-huh.
But those guys those guys hit the ground running because they were
Uh-huh.
actually getting good practice. Because a lot of clubs who don't really practice, the numbers tend to be small. So when you could actually get guys in a match situation, that's even better than actually going to practice evening at 4:30 and you maybe get 5-10 minutes batting or bowling, or the case maybe, it's more impactful that way to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has been some of the challenges, if any, in keeping this tournament going?
Yeah, yeah, man. It's just like any other thing in society these days. Um, it's gotten harder every year. Um, Obviously money as well. The prize money is not the largest, but then people just see the competition on the day, but they don't know the things you have to do in the background,
Yeah.
getting this thing done and all the lunches. What we did, we tried to help them with the balls as much as possible, which is similar to what happens at the club level. But they have to pay the umpire fees and they have to create their own lunches and stuff like that. So at least it gives them back some kind of responsibility, you
Uh-huh.
know. rather than everything being free. Like, right now you're getting clothes free. The season, you don't pay the umpires, you don't buy balls, but at least you're giving back, getting something, getting guys some kind of responsibility, if you get what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying, to show
Yeah.
them that actually cricket is not an easy game to put together.
Okay.
You still have like the umpires, I would say the umpires to be paid, the groundsmen to be paid and stuff. And I
Hmm.
find a lot of the youngsters know that come up now, they stay away from those kind of responsibilities. So at least he's still trying to instill some kind of discipline in this upcoming generation.
So do you get a chance to play in this competition, or you're too taken up
No,
with
no, no,
organizing?
man. I stopped playing this competition. No, being that we make so much into the organizing of it, I don't think that I should be actually playing in the competition. I did in the early stages,
Uh-huh.
but then it started to get like as I said, you have a team in the competition, you're playing the competition, then so some people might say, man, this competition is only for the Keith Boyce 11 basically,
Uh-huh.
because that's how people would generally think. So then I just pulled away a bit. But as I said, it's still organized overall, and obviously Keith Boy still has the team in it. Some of the younger players coming through, like obviously my son and same to Red's son as well, play for the Keith Boys 11 at some point in time. My son plays for another team now, but it still goes to show then that you could get, you instill some kind of responsibility in them from an early stage.
So how did keep Boyce team selected? What's the basis of that team?
Well, as when I was still playing, obviously majority of the guys were people that was coached by Keith Boyce, but obviously all guys know a little bit aged and stuff, so you needed to incorporate some of the younger blood into the team. So the team together basically with the older heads. When I say the older heads, like myself, Corey Cullimore, and Anderson Payne, even Dwayne Smith. Dwayne Smith still plays for the team. Ryan Nurse. So when you look, Carol Moore, so when you look back at the team, you'll see a lot of guys of that particular age now, but then what we try to do is incorporate people that we are affiliated with. When I said affiliated, in terms of maybe I will pull some guys from maybe Pittway, Weiss, Andy might pull some guys from Maple, Dwayne might pull some guys from YMPCA, and you still, at least you get a pretty decent unit. Yeah,
Okay. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So what was really your experience with Keith Boyce? You talk about being coached by Keith Boyce, so I believe you were one of those being coached by him at some point.
Yes, yeah. When it was at Com, when the Conway schools North and South, he was actually my coach then. When I was playing for Conway schools North.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
And what are your memories of Keith Boyce as a coach?
Keith too. Keith was like, like a father figure to all to all of our guys, and like he's the one that really drilled in our guys. He needed to put in hard work and stuff like that, and like he would never leave anyone. I mean, anytime anytime you talk about Keith Boyce, one of the first things you'll hear is that like he had a maroon Subaru, and let me tell you, that car used to be like hot. Like on evenings, like after practice and stuff, like most of the guys live different places and stuff, and it's after school. They might not be able to get home straight away. Like you might go in the bus stand, and you're waiting for a couple of hours to get home. Obviously, you know how the bus system was, especially in the country, because majority of the guys then that was playing for common schools would have been like either St. Lucy's, St. Peter, St. Andrew, more St.
Yeah.
Joseph, those kind of districts, and like after cricket or practice, let me tell you, Mr. Boyce put in everybody in that Subaru and bring you straight home. And it's not like he putting you at a gap or stop. He taking you directly home, and like he made so many sacrifices for our guys, and so as a result, like you find all the guys that would have interacting with him, like going on maybe to coaching, administration, still involved with the game and stuff like that. Yeah, from the beginnings.
It's certainly a great thing that you're doing in keeping the memory alive, and especially when you draw attention to the let's say the attitude, the skills, what he brought to the game, and
Yeah,
what as administrators, as you said, coaches, even as players, what you can take from that as we
Yeah,
all try to move the game forward.
yeah, for sure. And the thing about him is that to me, he was probably ahead of his time. Like he was like so like down to earth too as well, and he's a straight. He, Mr. Boyce was a straight talker. They got some guys that would try to beat around the bush and thing. Like, nah, like if you got something to tell me, he's gonna tell you straight
Uh-huh.
away. So at least you know where you stand over Mr. Boyce for sure. Yeah, and to me, I prefer that way because like some guys then just get a false sense of certain things like when you're dodging things and like if you want your shirt to be in, he's gonna tell you put in your shirt. I just saying, but I prefer that style, coaching and management. But as I said, he was hard, but he was fair. And that is like I would say like his one of his biggest traits. Yeah.
So you're looking forward to a competitive final then this time around?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And to be honest, the last 2, 3 years of the finals was like massive. Like hardly any players to part. I guess too obviously because it's a bank holiday and
Uh-huh.
stuff. But the crowds like I've not seen those kind of crowds like around cricket other than maybe like say like a CPL. Like but as you go around local cricket, you obviously you're a commentator. You notice. You get a handful of spectators here, a handful of spectators there.
Yeah.
Because, like the older generation don't seem to, go and pass away, drifting away from the cricket. They probably more stay home and listen to the commentary and stuff, but actual at cricket per se. So to me, I finding that our competition actually brings back out the crowd. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about it. When, where?
April 20th, obviously, that has always been a day. Not Heroes Day, because to me, Keith was our hero.
Fair
So
enough.
that's why the competition, the finals is always being played at that day.
Uh-huh.
Obviously at the corner. The pavilion there is named after him because he came from a throne from Castle, which is a stone throw away from Demo Corner.
Uh-huh.
And so obviously 11:30 start. The final normally starts half an hour earlier. Due to the different little things you might do, presentation of the teams and stuff, maybe the the dignitaries and stuff. So we try to start a little bit earlier than the regular competition, and looking forward to a bumper crowd.
Well, and I'm sure that bumper crowd will come out looking forward to a very keen and entertaining contest. No doubt that's what it will be. You've got the players to do it. You've got the
Yes.
commitment in terms of the organization. And here's wishing you and everyone great success for the final. Well, Chevelle Griffith, you are one of the senior players of the North Star North Star side. And
Yes, please.
I think you guys have been playing in this competition now for quite some time.
Yes, please. We have been.
Okay, so how has it been?
Well, it has been very entertaining, I would say, and very educational as well. We started a couple of years back with a side not so strong. I remember one of our first games being restricted to less than 100, and defeated pretty easily. Then we played against the Keith Boyce 11 Dynamisher in that same series, and we won that game where they chose to bat first on a wicket that wasn't, very conducive to batting, but they backed themselves to defeat us, and we put up a good fight. So it was a building process coming up, and you will see the results of it now this year for all the hard work.
Right. But what really got you involved in the competition in the first place, though?
Well, hanging around with a lot of senior players in the Barbados setup. I would not have been in the setup myself, but I know some players who would have been in the setup. And Keith Boyce's name would always ring as a motivational and inspirational person. And I myself look at myself as a tool of motivation towards young players or anyone who I may come in contact with. So I use the opportunity to reach out to some of my mates at the time, and they bought into the idea of playing in a preseason tournament. And from there, it was like just hit the ground running.
Okay, and it has been a fairly satisfying experience.
Yes, please. As life will go, you will have some disappointments, as long as you have some high points, but we try to look at the disappointments as stepping stones, what we could have done, because as the old saying goes, you learn more by losing than you do by winning. So it's not necessarily a loss, but more like a lesson. And from my experience, majority of what I experience in life, I could relate it to cricket. So cricket is really one of those things that coach you for life. So it was very satisfying and very entertaining. You meet a lot of friends, and you understand more about cricket from playing against more competitive parties.
So you're looking forward to the final. How do you fancy your chances?
Well, cricket is one of those games with glorious uncertainties. But I believe once we play our best cricket, best possible cricket, whether we come up on the victorious side or on the other side, I strongly believe that there will be a lot of lessons learned, and it will be very entertaining for the spectators. We can't forget the spectators, because the game is what it is with 22 players and 2 umpires, but the spectators definitely bring life to the cricket. So one of the things that we are definitely aiming to do is to make sure that all spectators are satisfied with our performance.
So who are some of the players who have brought you to this point, some of the outstanding performances?
Well, we've had outstanding performances in almost every game from various age ranges. In the first game, we had 2 under 19 players who would have done well. A guy like Terry Archer, you have a Ronaldo King, we would have played with guys like Seth Agard, coming up through the ranks, even though we get some performances from some senior players as well. We also had a Matthew Jones. We were fortunate enough to have Joe Archer play with us a game, and he would have left some valuable information behind. In terms of coaching of the youngsters and what's not. I can't forget Giovante De Pisa. Who would have captained the West Indies in the 19. He was actually my man in the match for the last game, the semi-final game, with a 70 odd and 4 or 5 wickets. We have Ashley Skeet, an in-house player. May not be very much recognized on the local level, but it just goes to show that at all levels, from international level right down to junior level, you can find a performer. And once the team gel and play together, you will see the results you're looking for.
You did say that Joe Archer left maybe some good advice and so on, but really and truly though, a guy who has done what he has done at the international level, what was it like really having him play in the team?
It was phenomenal. Obviously that would not be the first time that we would have met him. We would have played against him many years ago in the same competition. We would have played, he would have played for the Keith Boyce 11 then. But to actually share a dressing room with him and share warm-up setting and what's not, that was very inspirational for a lot of the young guys, to be able to rub shoulders or play on the same level as such. Because, there would be aspirations to play at the highest level of cricket.
Of course. So without revealing everything, what's the game plan for the final?
Well, the game plan is to win the most important sessions. Try to win all the sessions, but if you can't win all, win the most important sessions. Stick to your game. Try to play cricket together, because it's not an ice sport; it's a team sport. And just try to execute within your skill set, and enjoy the game. And of course, make sure the spectators are happy.
What do you think the Keith Boyce tournament has done for cricket? Maybe you want to look at it, cricket in Barbados or even cricket in the North. What do you think has come out of it over the years?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I think that the Keith Boyce tournament is a phenomenal tournament. As I said, it brings players from all walks of life. It brings players from the international level, and it brings players from the junior level. You have first division players, you have elite players, you have overseas players, and it really sets the tone for the season going forward. You know, we're into our second fixture game for the PCA, and we've already scored over 200 runs on 2 occasions. You know, so it shows that once you put in the work beforehand, you will see the results, and that is what the Keith Boyce Tournament does. It allows you to be prepared. You know, as a Cub Scout, the motto was "Be prepared."
Javel Griffith, all the best to you and your team in the final.
Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful day, sir.
Therese Clark, welcome to Anything Cricket. Let's talk. Of course, the Keith Boyce Tournament winding down. It has been going for quite a while now. And how has it gone during the course of this season?
Thank you for having me. The competition has been going very well. We had 22 participants, which is a large number, and I must say I'm thankful for that. It has been very competitive, and as you can see from the finals, the two teams that are scheduled to compete on Monday, they would have been a part of our competition for quite a while. And that's good to see that, they continue and they progress. And it's really good to see that two teams who have been in the competition for the while now are coming to compete for the finals.
You've had a pretty good season in terms of the cricket. What was really behind the naming of the tournament though after your death?
That was conceptualized by basically the Basketball Sports Club, and Clyde Sobers would have, brought that to fruition. And I must thank them for doing that. Myself and the others like Rondell and Anderson Payne, Carl Chapman, Don O'Neill, Sandra Graves would have come to in the latter stages of the competition. And so we need to thank Basketball Sports Club for conceptualizing the competition and also for assisting us to bring it so far and for its continuance. And it would have come out basically because my dad would have come from the Castle St. Peter, and he was a known figure, especially in the cricketing fraternity. So they thought it fitting after his death to recognize his contribution. So that is why that competition came about.
We've heard so much about Keith Boyce, the cricketer, Keith Boyce is a coach, but when he steps off that field, what was he like?
He was entertaining. He was loving. He was a very bubbly person, always wanting to do things and especially engage his two daughters. He was proud of them. Persons would joke and say, "You don't have any sons." But my dad always said, my two girls could play sports just as good as a boy. And, he was always very proud of us, always wanted to be around us. And that was amazing. My sister would eat lunch with him nearly every day. And then, he would pass by my workplace and see if I'm okay. But everybody knew him. So, even to be out in public with him, it would be a challenge to get to where you're going because everybody's going to stop him. Though, no matter who it is, he will stop and speak to you. So he was very engaging. He was a fun-loving person. Really, he was talkative. He was loud, but very entertaining.
Didn't only play, of course, his cricket in Barbados and the region, but he was in the days when many cricketers played in England.
Oh, for sure. He played for Essex, and we would have visited there, can't even remember which year. And when they announced that he was there, actually, we were mobbed. I actually lost track of where he was because the persons were just coming and, want to speak to him, want to see him. And I just sat there for a while and I was amazed that persons recognized him and were so happy to see him. I even visited a sports store with him. And the gentleman, from the time he walked in, he recognized him and he told him, take what you want. And I couldn't believe that he was so well known, not even just locally, but overseas as well, So that's really good to know.
And I get the impression too that familiarity, way beyond his passing. You ever got the chance to go back maybe to that area sometime after?
No, I've never gotten the chance to go back to Essex, but I've been to England with my son because he went to play some cricket there over there for a while. And, once they're here, oh, this is Keith Boyce's daughter and his grandson, they're so amazed. They want to chat with you. And then my son looks just like him, walks just like him. It's amazing. Yeah. And it's good to have that chat. I normally meet a lot of people that tell me the stories they've been to watch him. Persons want to imitate even his walk. It is so funny to see persons, try, want to idolize this gentleman that is just my dad, but to see that they're the great memories and the stories, to know that they loved him so much, but is really good to know.
And of course, your son that you're talking about, I think most people know, but for those who don't,
Yes, my son's name is Adan Clark. Yes.
plays for the Charlton team.
Yes, he does. Plays with Carlton team.
Mhm.
And see, he loves it. He wants his own identity, but he loves to hear the stories, of his granddad, the exploits, and he gets it all the time. And he's willing to hear and listen. Person send him videos and say, "Look how you're running. Look and see the similarities. How
Right.
you pick up the ball the same way. The athletic way he moves."
Yes.
And the funny thing is, my son also plays football, and my dad would have played football. So it's so, surreal to see, like, he takes after him in those aspects. Yes, I would have represented UE at the netball at the UE Sports in Jamaica. And just before he died, he would have been the coach for the team, Barbados team, and they would have competed in Jamaica. So the groundsman, he heard that I was on tour and he actually sought me out and came and he said he wanted to show me something. And he took me to the rock where my father used to sit at night. I think the players used to be upstairs, so they used to be conversating because he'd be out there just sitting down. And the gentleman said he used to come out there every night and sit with him. And I can remember it because he used to call me from that rock at night to see if we were okay and so forth. And it was amazing that the gentleman sought me out, came, showed me where he sat, and said it was a pleasure to sit with him at night. They would stay out there all night and talk. So that was really lovely.
Lovely memories indeed, Perez. Thanks for joining us on Anything Cricket. Let's talk. And as the Keith Boyce Tournament winds down, all the best.
Thank you.
Tennyson Roach, and I must say, a very informed Tennyson Roach. Tennyson Roach Jr., I might add. Welcome to Anything Cricket Let's Talk, and we're looking at the final of the Keith Boyce competition coming up very shortly. Congratulations for making the final.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so first of all, tell us about this lovely form that you found yourself in. How's
Um,
it recent time?
I would just say just hard work, off the field. I do a lot of gym work with Tino Best.
Mhm.
So getting myself physically fit, ready for the games, and then in terms of batting wise, I like to call it the HPC, which is the Hope Performance Clinic. So that's where you go to for training. So not many people may know it, but HPC is basically Hope in terms of Kyle and Shea Hope by their own home. So as many people may call it, like, or hear them talking, they hit balls at home in their own garage with their dad. So I, and not sure if you know Shamar Ford and Mackay Simmons from Pitwick.
Who's also in a pretty good form
Yeah,
recently.
correct. So
Yeah.
we go there every Friday afternoon, evening, and Calhoun has been a mentor for me for as many years now. So those are the two, and then obviously my club coach and others who may chip in here and there. But those two for sure. Off the field, physically, it's Tino Best, and then batting wise, it would be Cole Hope and Shevo.
Okay. You said you're a club coach. Who's your club coach?
Jafari Topping.
Pardon me?
Jafari Topping.
Jafar Toppin, right.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're talking about, of course, your Windward club.
Yeah.
So well, you've got some cricketing pedigree as well.
Yeah.
Your dad used to play. Of
Yeah.
course, we're talking about Tennyson Roach, the medium pace all-rounder.
Yeah.
But I think you're more of a batsman. I'm not sure how much bowling you do.
Yeah. A batting all round, I would call myself. I ball a bit of spin. We could keep if needed, but mainly bat.
Okay. So how has the tournament gone for you, the Keith Boyce tournament? How has that been for you this season?
This season it's been basically here and there for us. The first game we had a rain out against Lords. Um, the second game we won against Greens in Eden Lodge. The third game we won by default against Oilers because they did not had no wicket prepared. Shufflers defeated us at North Stars. We defeated the mighty Shannon at Eden Lodge. I must add Achilles Brown scored a magnificent 100 there on a soft wicket. And then we had the experience of like Ramon Simmons and Jerry on Hoyt, Javid Leacock, the big barbers, contracted players really helped us. Quarterfinals at Zen Hill, we defeated Clear Smith when many people thought that we would have lost because we had to score 240 in about 22 overs, and we knocked it off with the over as something spare.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the semifinals, we played the mighty Keith Boyce 11, and we defeated them as well. So I guess we just look at the season to be one that we just played as underdogs, just play together. And when people look at our side, I've been hearing a lot of word that we shouldn't even be in the final, but we just playing good cricket all the time. So that's all that matters for me.
So you are in the final. So what's the
Yeah.
game plan?
Just to play the same cricket we played throughout the season. Just backing one another, sticking to our plans, and just be positive. Our coach Sammy Skeet, he just been there guiding us, just telling us be positive, play positive cricket, and play the cricket in three phases. Whereas you're batting, you're bowling, and you're feeding properly.
How long have you been playing in the Keith Boyce tournament?
This is my third year, but my first year for Rampart. My first year captain in Keith Boyce as well.
Okay. And how has the tournament, what impact has the tournament had on you, and I dare say on others around you? What are the positives that you've seen?
The Keith Boyce tournament is obviously an older season tournament. It's still playing in season, but mainly older season. And I think the first year I played it was my first year to Windward, which should be 2023. And I think that it's a good tournament for me, and I guess for others as well. I use this tournament as a tournament where I could tweak things going into the season, look at areas where I'm strong at, work on areas that need working on, and just trying to figure out everything or figure out most things before the season start.
You said it's your first season captaining. What was that experience like?
It's been good. I think the bunch of guys that we have are a very manageable group. As I said, the likes of Javid Leacock, Ramon Simmons, Shakir Paris played with us the first game. And then we have the benefits of having Tino Best back because he came back for the semifinals. So it's a good
He played
group.
as well, or only?
Yeah, he played. He played the semifinals. So he's basically like a mentor for the guys as well, especially the bowlers. So having these experienced guys in the side is easier for me to manage because I don't have to be like, what you want to do. They already come with a plan. So you just have for me to basically back their plan, the team to back their plan as well.
Okay, sounds pretty good. How do you fancy your chances? in the final?
Yeah, I think if we play the same positive cricket, we have a chance. But there's all same cricket plays on the day, so you just have to wait and see what happens. But I think if we play the same cricket that I've been seeing us play, we should come out on top.
Tennyson Roach, thanks very much for joining us, and all the best to you and your team in the final.
Thank you very much.
That's our show. Thanks for watching. Join us again soon for another episode of Anything Cricket. Let's talk.